what do you do when you lose your hair at 17? You get angry, you get sad, you blame others and yourself, and sometimes you give up on life. I'm going to tell you about alopecia from a 17-year-old perspective. You see, I was 17 when I finally lost all my hair. It's 29 years ago, but it's still real, and some places it's just a memory. Before I continue, I want to ask you to actually like and subscribe to this video, because the more of you who can like and subscribe to this video, the more this video has a chance to be shown out there. You see, I believe there are people out there who is going through stuff and who is struggling to cope with it and to come to terms with it. And I'm hoping that this video will give them hope. So here we go, let me tell you the story. When I was about 7, my hair started falling out in patches. Not a lot, little 50-cent pieces, South African 50-cent pieces. And everybody thought it was maybe ringworms, according to the doctors. You see, I love cats. I've always loved cats. We weren't always allowed to keep cats in the house. And so I would go and find every feral cat I could get, tame it, pat it, cuddle it, snuggle it. And I was exposed to all these wild cats. So of course, that's where you pick up ringworms, so it was the obvious conclusion. But then at 16 and a half, it was more and more and more patches. There was a small one on the side, and then there was one on the top. And I tried to cover it with brushing my hair a certain way, but it got to a point where there were only a few strands left. And so I was running a lot at that stage, and I was at the regionals for the 3,000 meters. And my sister was on the pavilion watching, and she overheard two ladies talking, and the one said to the other one, "What's wrong with that woman, or that girl?" And you see, at that stage, I was angry. And I wanted the world to know why I was angry. So I would refuse to wear anything on my head, which was not a good idea, because in South Africa, this sun is pretty vicious. So I constantly had the sunburned head. But that we'll get to later. So by the time we got home after the meet, my sister came to me and she said, "Kati," that's what my family call me, "I think it is time for us to cut your hair. Because you're holding on to these few strands, but it doesn't look good." And the reason why I was holding on, but I didn't tell anybody, was I found this fashion editorial in one of the magazines about this girl who had a beret on, and then she had a long lock of hair hanging. She had this long lock of hair hanging down the side. And I had this hope in me that I was going to grow these strands of hair long enough so I could make a lock that could peek out from under a beret. And then I would get the same jacket. She had this beautiful riding jacket and this flowy skirt and boots, which was a bit silly because in South Africa you don't really wear clothes like that. Maybe for a month in the year, but the rest of the time it's pretty hot. So I wanted to keep on and hold on to the few strands of hair because they gave me that hope of being normal. Because my biggest fear was not being normal, was to be abnormal, to be standing out for people to see me. But that day we sat down in my room and she took the scissors and she cut off the few strands that was left. And as she was cutting them and as they were falling on the floor, we were both crying. And I knew that I hoped that it was just temporary, that my hair would grow back in the next 6 months. Because the reality is, if it doesn't grow back in a year, the chances of it growing back perfectly and properly, at that stage, I know that the things have changed in the meantime, the chances are that it won't grow back properly. So I was holding on to this hope. I have a year for my hair to grow back. And that night I went to the bathroom, and I love long flowy night dresses. So this is a 1900s one, which I cut off, but I was always wearing long flowy night dresses. And I came down the passage and I saw myself in the mirror. and I hated what I saw. And even though I had self-hate before, the hate got worse. It got to another level completely. So I would walk down the street and I would not wear a hat because I wanted everybody to know why I was so angry. And people would look at me and point at me and make comments and touch me inappropriately. And my sister would turn around and say, "What are you looking at?" I have more sisters and a brother, but this specific sister, she's quite feisty. And I would feel angry, but I would also feel proud because my sister's standing up for me. And I would feel full of myself because I'm showing the world that I will not let alopecia get me down. That lasted for a while, and then we tried the wigs. Or maybe we tried the wigs first. I think we tried the wigs first. So the wig story was another story. We went to a wig place, and I tried on all these different wigs, and they were really expensive. And my family had to sacrifice for me to get a wig because we didn't have a lot of money. And I know my sister's was done in for me to get a wig. So we couldn't afford a real hair wig. And even though it was real hair, it didn't feel like my own hair. So in the end, I just settled for the next best one. And I thought, okay, this is the closest to normal. And I'll wear a wig and I'll feel normal. But with a wig, you don't feel normal. The insides are lace. It's better now, but at that stage, it was plastic lace. I'm tactile intolerant. It is really torture to wear something that is plastic or synthetic on your head all day in the heat. So it didn't last long. I gave up. Not just because of that, but also because it didn't feel like my hair. It wasn't me. It was a wig. And my biggest fear was, what if people get to know me and then I take the wig off and then they don't like me? Never realizing that it wasn't even about how I looked. It was about much more than that. But that was the way I was thinking at that stage. So I went into this downward spiral. And I sabotaged most of the friendships around me. The people that stayed, they were brave. I didn't want to eat anymore. I didn't want to live anymore. And I really tried a few times to stop living. I'm very thankful that I was never successful. And I'm more thankful that my family never found me in the times when I were not successful. So after a while, I gave up on all of that. I gave up on trying to die because I was totally terrible at that. I gave up on trying to accept myself, and I was just there. But slowly, I started to feel alive again. You see, I'm actually an eternal optimist. And so I started to see the joke behind it. I did go for lots of different treatments. Some of them were horrible. Some of them stained my head forever. It's still full of stains from the laser treatment. The injections all over my head was torture. I sat there with tears running down my cheeks because it was so painful. All the different creams, all the different remedies, it didn't work for me. I know there are people out there who they are really effective for, but for me, it didn't work. And so, every year, I would go into the new year believing that maybe this year my hair is going to grow. And then it didn't grow, so I would make excuses. You know, I'm not relaxed enough, or this, or that. But I always ended up blaming myself. I'm not relaxed enough. I'm not eating correctly, which I'm still not really doing. Sometimes I actually try. Maybe if you saw, I'm sure you saw earlier, I came in with my breakfast. And it was oats cooked with some molasses and some strawberries and stuff, and it's really healthy. It's not very nice. If I had my way, I would eat chocolate croissants for breakfast. But that needs to change, and that's a story for another day. So as I went along, the self-blame was the biggest theme. I would blame myself for messing up my family's life. I would blame myself for not letting my hair grow, because it's not me. I'm not strong enough to get my hair to grow. I. And then people around me, well-meaning people, would come and say, oh, you know what? You need to do this and you need to do that. And then after a while, they would come back and say, but why didn't you do that? Why is it not successful? And then let's get to the people who was praying. Oh, I've been praying for you, and I feel like this is the reason, and you need to go and repent from this. I've repented for a lot of stuff. I went through deliverance and all the other things that went with that. I still didn't have hair. And along the way, I got a few friends who really believed in me, who would grab me and kiss my hair just because, who would enjoy what I wear because it's different, who would appreciate my sense of humor, who would love me just because of me. And I learned to accept myself. I can tell you today it wasn't overnight. And I know you might want this to be overnight. And maybe it will be overnight for you. And I hope it is. But I also want you to know that there is hope. Because now it's 29 years later. I don't know if you can see, but I do have some bum fluff. I actually had 3 haircuts in the last year. I started using a food supplement that really changed my health. My allergies are much better. And maybe it will make my hair grow, maybe not. I don't really care anymore. I am thankful that I have eyelashes now because it keeps the sand out. I am thankful that I sometimes have little fluffs of hair that blows in the wind. In the beginning, it was really such a strange feeling to have this hair blowing in the wind. It's like, oh, I feel like something out of a movie star. But it was different. And now I enjoy it. And my message to you today is to not let what's happening to you or what you are going through define you. Because not having hair or not having something in your body or having a stain on your face or whatever it is that you are going through, it's not the end of your life. If you can take that and learn to love it, and I can promise you, it's not an easy process. But if you allow yourself, you can actually look in the mirror and say, you are okay. I like what I'm seeing. I appreciate what I'm seeing. And then you can look inside of you and you can realize, I like me. And that's my message to you today. Learn to love you just as you are. And if things change, embrace it and be thankful for it. But don't wait and put your life on hold for when it's going to change. Because you might have your life on hold for a long time. Go out there. Go and enjoy every moment. Go and make moments and make memories. So as you go along through life, remember this moment. We all need that one moment that changes everything. I had a moment like that. That's a story for another day, but it changed everything. And after that, I had a few other moments like that, and it kept on changing and kept on evolving. And I can truly say, I'm 46 now. I love myself. I love life. I have amazing friends. I'm still waiting for Mr. Right, because I'm picky, or maybe just because I quite like myself and I like my environment. But there's hope. And I want you to take that message with you today. If you had a moment that changed your life and it changed your perspective, please tell me about that in the comments. I would really like to hear about that. Also, if this video helped you in any way, or if you feel like it will help somebody else, please share it. Lastly, press the bell and the notification and the subscribe button, because that way this video will get shown to more people. Thank you for your time and thank you for spending time